Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we're going to be sharing with you some really important tidbits about what you need to know before you start playing Call of Dragons and diving into your first kingdom and Season 1. There are, again, some really potentially impacting things that can happen, so it's good just to know these before you really start getting invested. We're going to jump right in. Number one is going to be starting regions. The reason why starting regions is important is because you are essentially region locked once you get past a certain level. Now, when you start out in a new kingdom, whichever region you're in, you will get 6 region. It should be 6, if not up to 6, unless they've changed it recently in some type of shadow update that we don't know about. But you're going to get 6 region relocation items that you'll find here in your inventory. And I believe I want to say they might pop up here, but again, you'll find them. I think it's in one of these two. And essentially what it does is it allows for you to move to a different zone 1 region prior to you hitting a certain castle level. I believe that's 11. I believe it's around 11 plus or minus. And so that's important in case, maybe you identify a situation where there's just players or alliances that are attacking anyone and everyone, and they're just trying to clear out the region. Maybe you have an offer, or maybe you found some friends that are playing in a different region and you want to start off playing with them. Whatever it may be, you'll have the opportunity to do so when you're starting. Now, once you get beyond this level, you will then be able to utilize something called Resurgence. I'll give you an example on this. Now, I'm in Season 3 for this account. Season 1, the Augerstone chapter, I believe it's around 8, the 8th Augerstone chapter, and you'll find it when it comes up. I'll show you what the icon looks like. It looks like this, Resurgence. But it'll tell you, when this chapter ends, whether or not the objectives have been met, the Resurgence feature will be enabled, allowing you to change your affiliated region. And this is important. So, if I click on my name here, you can see, hang on, where do I have to go for this? Ooh, is it more info? Probably not, and I'm probably blanking on where it is, but in short, there's an area that will tell you where your affiliated region is. It might be here if I do join, it is. So in the top right, you'll see your affiliated region and your current region, right? So current region is just where the game recognizes your account is in. Your affiliated region is what's important. Why? Because you can only join alliances and or recruit players from the affiliated region. Now, there are some exceptions, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. However, if you decide to use Resurgence, the main thing to take away and to know is that your policies will be reset and you will be credited back 50% of the amount of prestige that you've earned. The other is that 80% of your troops will be sent directly to the hospital. And you must also be Castle 12 or higher in order to take advantage of Resurgence. The last option you have available to you, and I believe this should be around the same Augerstone chapter as the others, is going to be Cross-Region Alliance. Now, this is typically unlocked around the Unscarred Augerstone chapter, which is third to last. And this is, from what I understand, pretty consistent across seasons. This will allow for you, once this is met, where you can change regions and move wherever you want. Now, getting back to the recruiting from other regions, there is a way to do this where you can recruit players from other regions outside of your alliance's starting region. One of the ways to do this, if not I believe the only way to do this, is you have to flag out to another region and capture one of the behemoth layers. Once you do this, you can then recruit players from that region. An example, if I'm in Darlin and I flag out and capture this behemoth layer, being a giant, I can then start to recruit players from Forgotten Lands where they can join my alliance in Darlin. Now let's get to telling you a little bit about how the passes work and when those open. Right now, in short, passes work very similarly to how Rise of Kingdoms is set up as well, right? They kind of open at specific intervals, and you can find all of that information out here, once again, in the Augerstone chapter. So, as an example, as I have to scroll here to figure this one out, so you'll see Market of Seat, right? This is where level 1 pass opens. They all have 12-hour cooldowns as well. So once the Augerstone chapter finishes, you have a 12-hour window before you can start attacking it. Timers will also be on the passes, which is nice. One of the other things to take note of that I think is pretty important is timing out scout access. So scout access for the region that has yet to open for you will typically happen before the level 1 passes, and usually a couple chapters before an Augur Stone. This is important to take advantage of so you can make sure that you're scouting at the earliest moment possible to start accumulating those free rewards and resources. The next one here is explaining a little bit about how alliance flagging works, because this is something that you may not be privy to and is different from Rise of Kingdoms from my understanding, and are there kingdom builders as well. So in short, you can move your center fortress, they call it the core fortress here, to any of the Zone 1 regions. However, you cannot freely build and or build at all core fortresses in Zone 2 or Zone 3, right? That's Lorcan, that's Agoru, and that's Hollandale over here. You have to, once you move into Zone 2, flag all the way through, and you can only place alliance fortresses in Zone 2 and Zone 3. That means you have to flag from Zone 2, from the level 2 pass to the level 3 pass, and then flag from the level 3 pass to anywhere in Zone 3, right? You cannot freely place any alliance fortresses, or just forts in general, freely without them being connected. What this means is that if you want to place a fort in Zone 2 or Zone 3, you have to build that alliance fort that is connected to one of your current flags that you are already flagging out. What this means is that, and I'll give you an example, like let's take TR here. You would have to build an alliance flag off of one of the current flags here. You couldn't build an alliance fortress over here, right? So it has to always be connected. However, like I said, core fortresses can be built anywhere freely in Zone 1 as long as you have pass access from capturing. The other important thing here is that when it comes to PvP, right, you cannot attack cities or rally player cities while they are on Alliance territory. You have to basically remove the flag first, or cut the activity line by destroying a connected Alliance fortress or core fortress. Then you can attack and or rally a player city. It used to be with farms. I believe they changed this recently to where now you can attack them, but before they had it where you couldn't even attack people who were farming tiles that were on Alliance territory. But that's important to note on what you may need to focus on before you can potentially get to a city, clear it, zero it, or send the units to the hospital. Let me see what I else have here. The next important one I would say is Darlin, right? So Darlin is the only Zone 1 region that does not have, excuse me, that felt great. The only Zone 1 region that does not have direct level 2 pass access. And you can see that here based on the borders, right? So here's the border going into Lorcan. You see there's no level 2 passes. All the other regions do have access to Zone 2, just not Darlin. So you may consider using Darlin as, again, Darlin you could almost, in some respects, could say, oh, hey, that's like a place where free-to-play can go. Anyone can go there, really, depending on, what your mindset is for your kingdom. This is a place that's kind of a transition period. It's almost kind of like a choke point region as well. And there's a few other ways that you can look at how Darlin represents itself. But for intents and purposes, that is the main takeaway. The next one I want to talk about is what actually gets reset in the kingdom. And this to me is really important because players should have a good understanding on what they should be focusing for the first season and how they should prep going into Season 2. Before I talk about what does get reset, I want to make sure that you are aware that your progress and how much you invest in Season 1 will directly play a factor, not fully, but a factor, into Season 2. And the main reason for that is because Season 2, there's a couple things that are stronger. For example, your Darklings are going to be stronger to attack. Dragon Trail is going to be more difficult, and the amount of stars that you can get for Prestige is lower than what you can get in Season 1, just to name a couple things. So to find out what gets reset, you have to go to the Augur Stone, you go to Season, we go to Season Overview, and you scroll all the way down, right? And these things are consistent for Season 1 and Season 2 on what does get reset. But I also have a sheet here that gives a little bit more clarity on this so that you just have a better understanding. So there's everything that you see right there, right, from hero levels. And if you click on these, it'll tell you, right? All heroes will be reset to level 1 and all hero talents will be reset. However, heroes' star ratings and skill levels will not be reset. Season resets will reduce your hero power, level up your heroes to restore it, right? So what this really means is that, and I'll show you this for a hero is that your level, wherever the level, hang on, do I have someone? Oh no, I haven't re-leveled up anyone. But in short, here's your level, right? So this is what gets reset. Your star rating will not, and then your skill level, right, will not. So what this means is that you have to level up. So what will happen is it basically will look like this, right? Like let's say you have Nika Max and she's 555 and you have her awakened. What will happen when the season reset comes is it'll look just like this. It'll have the first skill highlighted and showing it's active, and all the other ones will have the same number. They'll all say 555 down here, but they won't basically reactivate until you level up high enough in order to where you'd be at that same star threshold. So the example here is you'd have to get to level 10 on from EXP items, and then the second skill will unlock or reactivate. Same thing. Keep going. Level 20 will unlock the third, and then level 30 will unlock the fourth. And that's how it is. It basically goes from it's grayed out to then it highlights or it lights back up, right? That's the easy way to understand it. And then let's talk about a few of the other ones here. So you have tactics manuals, which is your EXP items, right? All unused tactic manuals will be scrapped. I believe they're scrapped for something. Again, I honestly did not check my inbox at the time when it happened. And then same thing, CP items, right, which is your command points. These are what you use to go out and attack Darklings, do chests, do forts, etc. When the new season starts, all used CP items will be scrapped. Artifact levels. When the new season starts, all artifact will be reset to 1, but their star rating and skill levels will not be reset. So the same thing that happens to heroes will happen to artifacts. Arcane Dust. All used Arcane Dust will be scrapped. Again, Arcane Dust is what you're using to level up artifacts, similar to EXP, so the same thing. Policies will be reset. Prestige. When the new season starts, all Lord's Prestige will be reset to 0. Again, Prestige is what you're gaining in Dragon Trail. So there's really nothing you can kind of do in that sense. Merits. When the new season starts, all Lord's unused merits will be reset to 0. The important thing, I will say, there's two things here about Prestige and about merits. Let's start first with Prestige. Prestige, you want to make sure that you are taking advantage of utilizing your Prestige here in the trail store, right? Do not let your Prestige go unused. Right? Make sure that you're doing whatever you can and buying whatever you can here in the trail store to try and get this as close to 0 before the season resets. That way you're not losing out on potential items and resources, etc., materials that you could have used. The next one here is going to be the merit points. This is important. Why? Because you need to make sure that you're taking advantage. I'm going to join an alliance real quick of the store. So when you go into an alliance, you're going to click on store. You will then click on this second tab at the bottom, and you'll see how it switches. Right here, top left, alliance store, merit store. Make sure you are using your merits and not letting them go unwasted. These are free resources and free rewards that you should be able to get. And again, try to zero out your merit points as much as you can so you don't lose out on them. That's a big thing. Now let's go back, and I think there's only a few others now that we really should touch on. Legion medical supplies. When the new season starts, all unused Legion medical supplies will be scrapped. And to give you an example of that, this is important as well when it comes to the hospital. As long as I still have some, let me make sure that I do. Where am I going for these? Maybe I don't. But anyways, with the Legion medical supplies, you want to make sure that you're utilizing those in your hospital. And I feel really bad because now I'm almost forgetting this, where I believe it is, oh gosh, I almost want to say it's like speed ups, not speed ups, but, oh gosh, someone's going to remind me. Someone will post it in the comments, but the idea here is when you get Legion medical supplies in the same similar fashion, you want to apply these in the same way that you do with your merits and prestige, right? Do not let these go unwasted, as it is really important to take advantage. Dragon Trail, right? We already told you, right? This gets reset, difficulty level, and then complete challenges at the new difficulty level. And then other is really for alliance leaders and or officers, management teams, where what basically happens with the alliances is they will reset going into the new season. Your alliance name and the abbreviation will be saved for you for 7 days when the new season starts, to where you can recreate the alliance name and keep that intact. And that really covers the kind of season overview when you're starting out, what's going to get reset, and some important things to take note of so you have a good understanding and appropriate expectation before you start in your first kingdom and for season 1. I hope this video did some justice outside of my one road bump because I'm having the biggest short-term memory loss right now. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope this helps out a lot. And again, happy playing, happy hunting. Welcome to Call the Dragons. And man, I can't wait till global release. It's going to be coming out today. It's going to be an exciting time for the community. That is it for me. As always, until next time, your boy, will catch you later.